G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you all had a great new year with your family and everything like that. Had a video on my mind or an idea with Geelong's midfield coming up this season, 2019. It's going to be a big year for the Cats, and hopefully we can go a few steps further than we did in season 2018. I was going through the list a bit earlier, and there's probably, I reckon, around 13 or so players that could play through the midfield. So I'm going to sort of run through who they could be and probably who's going to miss out, and a look at our best lineup for the midfield. It's going to change a lot, and obviously, provisor, before I go into it all, these players have ran through the midfield before. They're not full-timers or anything like that, but they're, I guess, a bunch of names that could go through. My job here today is to discuss who should be in there and what a good lineup would look like for the Cats. So there may be obviously injury concerns, maybe not everyone's available, maybe not everyone makes the 22, so there's a lot of variables and a lot to change between now and I guess the start of the season, pre-season and so forth. But first off, I'll just run through the names that have ran through the midfield the last couple of years all up that could go into the midfield. So we've got Parfitt, Ablett, Cockatoo, probably before I go a bit further, and then the balance of the midfield as well, and I'll discuss that a little bit further because there was issues last year with the midfield. Parfitt, Ablett, Cockatoo can go through the midfield. Kolajasny can play on a wing. Timmy Kelly, of course. Selwood, been there for so long. Scott Selwood can also run through. I'm going to leave Constable out for now. He'll probably get a go next year. This year I would have thought. But Narkle had to go through the midfield. Mitch Duncan always runs through there. Menegola has become a key cog in the midfield as well. Cam Guthrie in previous years has been damaging in the midfield. Hasn't been required as much with plenty in the midfield, and injury hasn't helped him either. Cunico has also sort of ran midfield, half forward. Of course, Dangerfield, the second he rocked up, he was midfield, but he also plays a fair bit forward as well when required. And Simpson's probably more forward. Dalhouse has also ran through the midfield, probably more so for the Dogs, but one would think he'd be forward. I'll discuss that soon. And yeah, so there's a fair host of numbers. Blitzarv's used to, but I dare say he'll be playing fullback for the rest of his career, or at least I hope he does. One would think with Taylor retiring probably the next year, you would think. So, first off, we'll probably put who's going to be playing up forward. I feel like Parfitt will mainly stay forward. He'll go into the midfield at times. He was good in the midfield. If Cockatoo can get his body right, he's probably one that will play forward as well, but I reckon I don't mind throwing him into the midfield for a bit of a clearance here and there. I still remember his goal against Adelaide. I've got a video of that. If you want to check my videos after that, where he just got the clearance and then kicked a super goal. It was amazing. Tim Kelly, I think he's a lock to start in the midfield there. Selwood and Ablett especially have been talked about as guys that... I haven't even talked about Ablett. That Selwood, Ablett have been talked about playing in different positions. And I'm probably also here to discuss where I think they should be playing. Ablett. So you'd think his best footy is in the midfield, and it probably is. An outside role, definitely, for Ablett. But there has been discussions about him potentially moving down back or up forward. So they're just throwing a mixed messages there to not really give oppositions too much to plan for. In my personal opinion, I'd like to see him play probably 60-70% forward, just with the mix, and then obviously 30-40 in the midfield and throw him in where required. But yeah, at his best, he's an inside mid, but normally you'll see him, he's a different player now. He's 35, I think, or coming up to being 35 this year. I think, yeah, Tim Kelly, I think he was initially recruited as a forward, but he's come on very well in the midfield, and I'd want him there. Joel Selwood, yeah, he hasn't got many positions, and there's been talk about him playing half-back like a Luke Hodge role. I personally don't think he has the mobility down back or the speed or strength. He's strong, but if he's one-on-one or if he's got to chase, a Willie Rioli or something, How's that going to go down? Not too well, I wouldn't have thought. But he's 30, 31. He's the end's coming somewhat quickly for him. He's had a bruising career. He's had a lot of tough games, and that takes its toll on the body. There's only so much one human can take, and we know how courageous and how tough he is. But yeah, directly in the midfield, who knows? I'll delve into that soon. Scott Selwood, again, I think he was forced to play forward in the final against Melbourne. He's not really a forward. He can apply tackle pressure up forward, but I reckon with some inclusions with Rowan and Dalehouse, that will see him not need to play up forward. He's traditionally been a tagger, and he's done it with reasonable success, but there's also been times where he's sort of been found in no man's land in the midfield. So he's probably sitting on the bench, but I'll discuss the mechanics of how a midfield should look shortly. Narkle for a bit of speed, he's good through there, but I reckon he'll predominantly play forward. Again, we've got plenty of guys who can play forward. There's going to be a lot of forward problems as well. Duncan, I feel like you put him on the wing or back of the square. Don't play him in the guts because you want to give Duncan the ball to be able to kick inside 50. You want him kicking not under pressure, with the clean sort of steady hands. And yeah, he's just about probably our best kick, if not second best kick to the guy coming here, Sam Menegola, and I expect him to feature heavily in the midfield as well. I also reckon he's a great centre-half forward option for a chop-out for Hawkins and Radagalier, or either or if they're on the bench, because he's kicking inside 50, he's elite over a couple of years now. And in the midfield, he's good at winning it, he's strong, he often gets his hands to the ball. Sometimes he bites off a bit more than he can chew, but I feel like his kicking is elite. He's been classed as elite in certain categories, and yeah, if he's playing at centre-half forward, he marks at 55 out, he can have a shot, or if he doesn't want to have a shot, he'll probably drill it to someone on the chest. So I think I'd like to see Menegola a similar mould of Ablett, where probably 70% in the midfield, 30% up forward. And he had 6 scoring shots against the Suns with 3 goals. I think in a game we struggled against them up in Gold Coast. I feel like Guthrie is a chance, but I see a lot of his footy being played in the back line if he's fit. That's where he sort of started his career, and he's got great dash off half back, and he's generally pretty good one-on-one. He's had a couple of indifferent years. I don't think the injuries helped him, but hopefully, yeah, it gets a bit of health going for him, and can shut down some dangerous small attackers, or forwards, I should say, defenders and attackers all at once. Kuniko, predominantly a wing or half forward. I'd like him at half forward. He's quite a quick man, and has a bit of a kick on him as well. So yeah, I'd probably see him around the half forward or on the bench, or maybe an emergency. It all depends on the mix of the team. Dangerfield, nearly as interesting as Ablett, really. You need 2 of him. You need one getting it out of the midfield, and then someone else, a Dangerfield, to kick to him. Menzel's out, of course, so that would lead me to think that maybe a Dangerfield or a Dalehouse or an Ablett will be playing more forward. I would imagine Dangerfield would still play plenty in the midfield and maybe pinch it up forward every now and again, maybe for a rest or whatever, depending on rotations. If we're winning in the midfield well and he's not in there, whether he's on the bench or up forward, then I think it's horses for courses. There's no sort of blanket rule with Dangerfield. It's whatever's happening at the time, and you use him however you best need him. If you're getting plenty of entries but no scoring, or limited scoring, then you put him up forward. If you're struggling in the midfield and need a clearance desperately, then you put Dangerfield in the middle. So, pretty simple there. And we've got Dalehouse, who's played plenty of midfield at Dogs, and a little bit forward. He hasn't kicked a lot of goals in his career, so that leads me to believe he's predominantly a midfielder, but he'll definitely be playing forward as that forward pressure along with Rowan. So that one will be pretty straightforward, you would think. So that's sort of a list of players that can sort of run through the midfield, and then if you want like a best 6, we might sort of get a little bit of notepad going. I'll do it live here for you guys. So we've got Probably Duncan on one wing, and then in the midfield you probably got your Kelly, and on the other wing you might have Ablett on the other wing, and then obviously you've got to have some following. So you have Dangerfield starting, and then this is where it gets tough. You've got potentially Selwood is probably the most likely to go in. It's either probably Selwood or Menegola. Selwood, if you're talking on paper, probably Selwood, but then you've got, all of a sudden you've got Menegola, yep, who's also there, and you've got Scott Selwood. And it's all about getting the balance right with having enough attacking inside of the centre circle, but also a bit of a defensive side, which Scott Selwood can bring from time to time. And it's been quite successful when we've had Selwood in the midfield, Scooter I should say. What we do know from not stacks of games, but enough games to sort of tell us, Ablett, Selwood and Dangerfield doesn't work. I don't know how, I don't know why. It's one of the best combos you could ever imagine in the centre square, but for whatever reason, whether they're too attacking or they all try and hunt the ball, so when they miss it, the opposition pounces. So that leads me to believe he definitely would be wanting some kind of defensive pressure in there. And I think Scott Selwood with the tag, he can sort of potentially stop the onslaught of maybe an Ad Fife or something like that, or minimise the damage that another star is causing. So yeah, Selwood at half back, I'd maybe trial it. I feel like he's going to play midfield his entire career, maybe occasionally go down back like a Luke Hodge, but he can't. He kicked 30 plus goals in 2013, which was quite an effort, but I don't think he has the capacity in the modern day to play forward. He's not great over the head, which you need to be good overhead. And Ablett, we've talked about him playing defence, playing up forward. I don't want Ablett in the back line, even if he's distributing it, because he normally goes a pretty safe kick. And I think from the back line, when you've got Tui bursting from the back line, you've also Cam Guthrie at full health is also exciting from half back. Tom Stewart always breaks the lines. And yeah, I think Ablett would make the back line look slow. And if he's on, Jamie Cripps or Rioli or a quick guy, bring back Neon Leon, then all of a sudden you just look very slow and conceding pretty easy goals by having Ablett, who's pretty vulnerable. I mean, he doesn't mind a tackle here or there, but he is mainly forward running, so that would ascertain him to be a midfield or forward. But likely he'll play both. So yeah, so that's probably the main points I've covered there. The players that can sort of go in the midfield, that can run through, who will most likely be in the midfield, who's going to be playing up forward that is in the midfield. And then probably sort of a best lineup, but what will happen, no midfield stays the same. There's obviously a best case scenario. And then there'll be a lot of other players that run through, like your Parfitt or Cockatoo or Narkle will run through every now and again. Maybe Menegola plays 20 minutes in that quarter. Yeah, no footy clubs absolutely set in stone. They have plans, so they're interchangeable, and they have to be, otherwise you can be on the end of a pretty nasty result. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Chuck any thoughts or feedback in the comments below, and I'd be muchly appreciated to see what you think of the midfield, the best midfield mix, and sort of any thoughts on that regarding the list. So thanks for hanging around, guys. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. That'd be awesome. Like the video as well if you liked it, and I'll catch you guys later on in another video. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you guys then.